Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Meet the Booru. I'm Weggies, joined today by co-host Takenoko.
Hello.
And today we are joined by a very special and very naked guest, Kibbles and Tits. Welcome to the show.
Party people.
So, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. It's a beautiful day. I'm not hungover. I am naked. So, all in all, things are going swimmingly.
So that's a good thing. It's a good thing there's no webcam for the Booru to see. So let's start with the origin and meaning of your Booru name, Kibbles and Tits.
Honestly, it's a dad joke. Like, those really bad jokes that your father tells. I was fucking signing up for the site and I could not think of anything. I tried a few names and they were taken. I was like, shit. So I'm looking around and I see a bag of dog food. And I'm like, Kibbles and Tits. There we go.
Talk.
So, what state do you live in?
I am currently in Missouri. And
Misery.
Yeah. it's solid 6 out of 10.
Gee.
So what do you do for a living?
I have been working for the oil and gas industry for the last few years, and currently I am working offshore and overseas. Great money, hate the job.
So what kind of places do you go to for your offshore work?
Well, I've been pretty much everywhere in the States doing onshore work. I've been to Texas, Pennsylvania, North Dakota for once. Don't recommend it. Wyoming. Never been to Colorado, California, but I've been a little bit of everywhere.
They say North Dakota is really booming right now for the oil.
The Bakken is just exploding. And if you want to go up there and make some money, do it, but you might get raped.
It's a bit of a 50-50 there.
It really is. Legitimately, you might get raped. It does happen.
Marty, what about some of the offshore places?
Well, I've only been working offshore for a little under a year now. I've been based in the North Sea, and it's actually not bad. Great people. It's something different. And, besides the fact I can't understand any of the fuckers, it's fun.
All right. So, what's your age, or I guess your sort of general age?
I'm actually 25. And if you believe that, awesome. If you don't, awesome.
Very age-ish. So, what are some of your favorite foods or desserts you like to eat?
Traveling a lot. I get the chance to try a little bit of everything. And my first time in Scotland, I was with a guy I was working with. We went out to get some dinner, and he convinced me to get haggis. And I kind of knew what haggis was, and I was like, I don't know, but I got it, and goddamn, is that shit good.
So, what exactly is haggis, for those who don't know?
It's kind of like a Scottish hot dog, because it's not anything like a Scottish hot dog. It's all the insidey parts of a sheep stuffed into its stomach with a bunch of oats and shit, and then boiled.
So, a hot dog.
Hot dog.
Sounds about right. What does that taste like?
It's hard to explain. I mean, it's real savory, a lot of good flavor there. And as long as you don't think about exactly what's in your mouth, it's pretty enjoyable.
Some of the members of the Booru might like that in their mouth.
Oh.
A few of them. Weirdos.
So, are there any movies that you like?
Oh, I really enjoy shitty movies. Like, just terrible, terrible movies. I've got a copy of The Room on DVD, signed by Tommy Wiseau. That's kind of a point of pride for me. The Ice Cream Man. If you've never seen The Ice Cream Man, it's bad. I love it. Pretty much anything from the 80s, early 90s that's just terrible, I've probably seen.
So is it more the B class style acting and scripts, or is it just bad movies?
It's more of the B movies. You know, me and my friends will get together at one of our houses and we'll just rip into a movie, get drunk and rip into a movie. It's like real life Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's probably a lot of fun. Do you have a favorite movie you like to put on a pedestal?
It's got to be The Room, because it's one of those movies that it's so bad that it transcends itself. It becomes something greater. And I'd say a close second would probably be Troll 2. And if you've never seen Troll 2, you're missing out.
I guess I'm missing out.
So, how about music?
I'm definitely a child of the 90s. You know, I grew up, my older brother, my father, they listened to, early mid-90s alternative rock. You know, Mazzy Star, Queens of the Stone Age, Stone Temple Pilots, you know, anything from that general area. And, you know, you pop open my iPod, that's what's in there. A lot of old school hip hop. Can't really listen to a whole lot of the new shit. The old shit's real good.
Like old late 80s or some of the early hip hop in the 90s?
When hip hop started to get more into the gangster rap shit, you know, NWA, Public Enemy, stuff like that, the Fugees. That's about the stuff. I'm the whitest guy you will ever meet, but I love NWA.
So what kind of games do you like to play?
I actually don't play a whole lot of games. I got some games on my phone, and I've got an Xbox downstairs that's been fucking sitting in a box for the last year. But I get frustrated real easy, and if I can't beat a level, I just quit.
What about some more traditional games? Like if you're out on the rig, do you guys play dice, cards, anything like that?
A couple years ago, when I first started, I was working up in Pennsylvania, and some of the guys tried to show me how to play Cribbage. And it looks fun.
Yeah, I haven't figured that one out either.
I don't know. But, you know, chess, we'll play chess every now and again. Card games, pretty decent at Texas Hold'em, blackjack, Go Fish, you know, stuff like that.
All right. Well, if you're not much of a game person, what other kind of hobbies do you have?
Well, I'm a white American, so I've got guns. I've got I'm not some gun nut, but I do enjoy collecting firearms. If I have the opportunity, I do like hunting. I don't get that opportunity a whole lot with my job, but I do go out and I do a lot of sport shooting, target shooting, and they're just, you know, they're my toys.
So when you do get the chance to go hunting, what kind of game do you like to hunt?
Well, I love deer hunting. You know, just going out there, 4 a.m, freezing your ass off, covered in mud, got some, you know, deer piss on you for whatever reason. And, I mean, it's fun. I have never shot a deer. I've killed 3 deer with vehicles. Never actually shot a deer.
So, what kind of arms do you like to collect?
Anything different, anything interesting that kind of catches my fancy. I'm a bit of a history buff, you know, and anything that's got a little bit of history behind it, I'll say, I'd like to get one of those, or at the very least a clone or a copy or something.
All right.
Do you collect a lot of old weaponry, or is it more just newer weapons that might have had a history or a role in a battle or something?
I've got a few older weapons. I've got a Mauser, from it's a model 1891, and it was built in 1893. It's an old gun, kicks like a mule, but I've got that. I've got a Nagant pistol, a model 1895. I've got a somewhere. I've got a Lee or not a Lee. I've got a Lee Enfield. I've got an Enfield rifle somewhere, which it's I'm more or less it's my brother's, but I shoot it more than he does. So it's probably with him somewhere. Got a few AK-40 or an AK-47, a few AR-15s, just a little bit of everything really.
All right. Is there anything that you'd like to get your hands on that you don't already have?
I don't have the money or the patience to deal with the paperwork, but I would really like a Class 3 firearm. I'd like a machine gun, just because. No reason. Don't need it. I'd want it.
Well, would a substitute work, such as a slide fire or a bump fire rifle?
I looked into the bump fire stocks, and I mean they're cool, but it's not the same. It's like decaf coffee. It's close. No cigar.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some pony stuff. Speaking of, guns and killing things. How did you get involved with My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic?
I'm actually, I would like to think that I'm not involved with the My Little Pony fandom. I know I'm on the Fluffy Booru and everything, and I draw cartoon ponies, and I think it's totally different because I've never seen an episode of the show. I've seen clips and I've seen pictures. That's about it.
All right. Do you have any interest in watching an episode or something?
Not really. I know it's kind of, it'd be like going to a car show and, having someone that doesn't have a driver's license with you. Just, I mean, people are into it. That's cool. You?
I was just saying, you can still enjoy looking at cars even if you don't have a license.
Oh yeah, it's not something I'd really be into. I've seen clips of the show and some pictures, and it's never really floated my boat.
Well, fair enough. Do you have any, despite having not seen the show, do you have a favorite character, whether it's canon or OC, that maybe you've seen pictures of or clips of?
Not. I mean, if I had a gun to my head and I was forced to choose, I guess Applejack, because she actually kind of looks like a horse. She doesn't have fucking pink fur,
Fair enough. So, how did you find your way to Fluffy Booru?
That's a long and twisty tale. About a year ago, I had some shit happen in my life, and I kind of started a downward spiral into, I was just not in a good place, and anything that was different, anything that I saw as not normal was wrong. And about this time, I got introduced to the concept of bronies. And, a lot of people are bronies. I've come to realize this, that not everyone walks around in a fucking Rainbow Dash outfit. But the pictures I saw, the vocal minority, as it were, those are the ones that go to the mall, go to a grocery store, go to the bowling alley, and they use their brony-dom to define themselves. And I just did not like that. And, it's the internet. One thing leads to another. I'm cringing at pictures of these bronies, and next thing I know, I'm on this website where people are killing ponies in hilarious ways, more or less. And I'm like, this is interesting. I start lurking. Next thing I know, I'm fucking signed up and start making stories, and I start drawing pictures, and it kind of got out of control.
You've built up quite the following, though. When you first started, or even now, is there a specific genre or style that you prefer to look at or read?
When I first started, I pretty much stuck to just abuse, and the more I read, the more I saw the pictures and everything. There's definitely some great writers, some great artists on the Booru, and the more I read of the abuse, it kind of lost its edge, and I started to get into more of the weird box and the comedy aspect. And right now, anything that is funny, it's probably going to be favorited by me.
Mm. All right. With what you with what you create, I mean, do you try to appeal to any specific genre, or do you just like drawing whatever?
Uh, I still draw quite a bit of, blood and gore. But, I grew up watching Ren and Stimpy and, Beavis and Butthead. Those were my cartoons when I was growing up. So it's, to me, seeing a cartoon character disemboweled, it's not really gross or horrifying. It's kind of funny because that's what I grew up watching. So I try in my drawings, some of them, I try to keep it a little funnier. I do a lot of weird box. I do some pop culture stuff, but I don't do much hug box. I really don't do much straight abuse. I do, but I don't do much of it.
All right.
Right. So, what do you feel the relationship is between the show, the cartoon show, and Friendship is Magic, and Fluffy Pony?
It's there. It's definitely there. It's very, very tenuous. I would say it's kind of hard to explain. I'm trying to find an analogy. It's I would say that My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is the original Volkswagen Beetle, and the Fluffy Booru is a Porsche 911. Kind of, sort of related. Not really.
Well, if you looked in your rear view mirror, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, actually, that's very true. It's not like a Crown Vic where you look in your rearview mirror and suddenly you're like, oh shit.
It's the popos.
Yeah, it's you look in your rearview mirror, it's like round headlights. I wonder what that is. Could be a Beetle. No, Porsche. I'm also saying that we're better.
Why, thank you. All right, so going on to Fluffy Pony headcanon, do you have any headcanon about, Fluffy creation or their genetic makeup?
I do. I got the general, Fluffy Ponies were created by Hasbio to make a quick buck, blah, 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 PETA, shenanigans ensued, fucking ferals everywhere. More or less general, basic headcanon. My headcanon is very, very flexible, though. If I need something to happen to make it work, it works. I make it happen.
Alrighty, what about their general size, weight, lifespan, stuff like that?
Generally, they're about the size of a house cat, maybe a little bigger, a little smaller, depending on, the individual. They live 7 years, give or take. Have a litter or 2, 3, 4. I have dogs. I've had dogs, cats. I can't imagine any pet. It's not going to be 3 inches tall and have 90 babies. I try to. Well, we're also talking about talking ponies, but I try to put my headcanon more in a realistic, if this were actually to be a thing, how would they act? And I try to make it, in my head, try to make it more grounded in reality.
All right. Actually, since you just brought it up, what kind of litter size do you have with your fluffies, like their gestation period? How long are fluffies pregnant, and so?
Uh, you know, litter size, you got something about the size of a cat. Cats have litters of 4 or 5. Uh, I would say 4. I mean 5 tops, but 2 to 4 is probably the average litter. Gestation is a few months. I mean, these are creatures that have DNA from everything under the sun. So, that's my personal headcanon. You got people who gestation is 9 months, gestation is 2 weeks. Litter size is 1, litter size is 14. But, like I said, I try to base it more in what I think these things would actually do.
Alrighty. How do you feel about the special fluffies? Alicorns, derp, stuff like that.
What do you mean by that? Like,
Oh, do you have them in your fandom? What do you think the causes
okay.
are? Are they treated as equals, as monsters, as something to be worshipped?
Well, as far as the derps go, the special ponies, as it were, the tards, I think that most animals, if they have a litter and one of them is not quite there, a lot of animals will abandon that one or that one baby. And as far as the alicorns go, to me, in my personal headcanon, they're not ostracized like a lot of people have them. They might be treated differently, but they're not going to be abandoned. But as I said, my headcanon is very flexible. If I need, for a picture or a story, if I need a foal to be abandoned, it'll get abandoned for whatever reason.
All right. So with wings and horns on Pegasi and unicorns, relatively, do you think that those have any function, or are they just ornamental?
I would say they're more ornamental. I know in the actual show, like I said, I haven't really watched the show, but I'm not completely naive. I know in the show they have special function. Pegasus can fly, unicorns can do shit with their horns. But I think in real life, we're talking about goddamn fluffy ponies.
Oh yeah,
I think in Fluffy World, yes, thank you, Fluffy World, I don't think they have any. They're purely ornamental.
World of Fluffcraft, new MMO.
God, so many died.
It's out this summer. So where would you put their intelligence level at?
That's also a point of flexibility with me. Generally, they're pretty goddamn stupid, right? I'd say intelligence of a 4-year-old, extremely naive. Not particularly. I mean, they don't have much of survival instincts, going for them. But if I need, they can probably figure out simple things. Like I had 3 babies, now I have 2 babies. Something's not right here.
Mm-hmm. What about smarty friends? Do you think that's like a genetic thing, or do fluffies just kind of naturally become smarties if the situation's right?
I'd say that's more of a combination of the two. I mean, just like with any pack animal, people, wolves, cows, you'll have, leaders and you'll have followers. And I would say that, as far as a smarty goes, a unicorn, which, unicorns generally, in most headcanons, in my headcanon, they tend to be marginally, very, very marginally more intelligent. And, you get a unicorn there. Let's say you got a feral herd. The unicorn's going to say, nah, we're going to do it my way. A little bit more ballsy than the other ones. And they'll the other ones will just follow him.
Alrighty. How do you feel about the population levels? Do you think this is like an infestation, a worldwide problem, a localized issue, maybe just some stray cats in the city?
That I wouldn't say they're a total ecological nightmare. Like, some of the stories, some of the headcanons people have. But at the same time, I'm working in South Texas. I saw the damage that feral pigs did. And granted, feral pigs are big, mean, nasty sons of bitches. But then you go down to Australia and you see the damage that rabbits do. And, if fluffies do breed like rabbits, I could see them becoming a bit of a problem.
Do you think do you have fluffies kind of everywhere, or is it a more of a just sold in certain markets?
They're pretty much everywhere. You got fluffies in the desert. They don't last very long, but you got fluffies in the desert. The forest, they don't last very long either. You got them in the grasslands. They don't last very long. But, they fuck like rabbits.
I'm
They
sensing a
repopulate
trend
themselves.
here.
Yeah, generally, in my little headcanon, generally ferals don't live too long. But they do repopulate themselves, and you do have the slightly more intelligent members of the species that, they're in the forest. Hey, let's not go play with that big stuffy bear over there, because that's not a stuffy bear, that's a real bear. Let's stick away from that puppy.
So, one of the I'll go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
All right. Well, I was just moving on to the next question. One of the back and forths on the Booru is about whether they actually have a soul, or if they're a toy, if they're a living creature, whatnot. How do you feel? Where do you stand on that issue?
Fluffy new M toy. Fluffy M alive. Yeah, I think that they're from a purely, they were created, but Dolly the sheep was a clone. She was created in a lab. Does that make her not real? But besides the fact that they're built more or less, they're alive. They're from a purely biological, not really an ethical or a moral standpoint, but from a biological standpoint, they would be alive.
Well, they're not exactly built. I mean, you just, have the birds and the bees, and then you actually, grow a living creature.
But the first prototypes, you had some Poindexter in a lab somewhere saying, "I'm gonna make a toy, a living toy." You got this crazy nut job combining DNA from everything under the sun, trying to make a tiny talking horse. In that sense, they were built, but after that, they kind of followed the laws of nature.
All right. So personally, do you think are there any special or major contributions to the Booru that you've created? Any well-known characters or popular series?
That I've that's a loaded question. I don't want to sound like an egotistical nut job. I know a lot of people liked my Mill series, and a lot of people liked and do like Devil Fluff. He pops up every now and again. But as far as sticking characters, it's not like I created Chernobyl or Martini,
There's lots of long-running things that people enjoy on the Booru. So, is there any reason why you spend a lot of time with the foals, or is it just coincidence?
It's coincidence. I'll start a drawing or I'll start a story, and it's kind of just slips in there like, oh, it's a foal. I started drawing and I try to make an adult, and I'm like, oh no, it looks like a foal. It's a foal now. And because I guess foals are easier to draw, easier to write about, because they're innocent. If there's anything innocent, it's a fluffy foal, and that's what makes them so fun.
What about them specifically do you like when you're drawing? Like, is it the size? Is it the lack of a mane?
Probably a little bit of both. I've got. I finally, after a bit of trial and error, a lot of practice, I've got more or less my unique style down, and that a lot of people, I got a lot of inspiration from a lot of different people. Just creating my design, and they just kind of ended up. I like foals. Whoa, that sounded weird. I do not like foals. Not like that.
Sure.
Philly fiddler. So, what about some of the subtypes or fluffy spin-off things, like the garden fluffies, sea fluffies, cotton fluffies, griffins? I think that's all of them.
Yeah, they're all interesting concepts, and every now and again you'll see a garden fluffy story pop up, or a griffin story, or a griffin picture. The breezies for a while there, but to me, I mean,
fuzzy ponies.
The fuzzy ponies and whatnot. It's nice to have a little bit of variety. To me, they're not really in my headcanon personally, but every now and again someone will make a gem with a garden fluff or a sea fluffy, and that's okay. It gives a little bit of variety to the Booru, because you log on, you get on the front page, and it's Hugbox abuse, unicorn, earthy, Pegasus, earthy, unicorn. It's all broken record. I wouldn't say broken record. There's still a lot of creativity, but you can only go so far with the three basic types.
Oh yeah.
Okay, right. What about some fluffy related stuff that's not actual fluff? I guess the shining example of this is whether or not Flufflepuff is actually a fluffy pony.
Well, she's a pony. She's fluffy. Ipso facto, fluffy pony.
Well, there's fluffy ponies, and there's ponies who happen to be fluffy. They're not exactly the same thing.
They all bleed the same, man.
That's one way to look at it. So, what do you think about Noodles and the other OCs on the Booru? Like Weggies is a pair of pants, and do you think those are fluffy related?
It's the the non-fluffy characters who
Oh yeah.
I think they're fluffy related. I mean, you got like Weggies and Noodles, and you got Funk, the great wizard. You got those people popping up, and it's always related to fluffies. You don't have just a picture where Weggies is at Sears trying on new Weggies. Which I would favorite that. That'd be kind of funny. I could just imagine that. But you don't see shit like that. You always see them interacting with fluffies, and even if they're not explicitly interacting with fluffies, it's still related. Because those are more or less, they're there. It's just something that exists.
Created of the fandom, yeah.
Yeah, it's created of the fandom.
Okay.
What about some of the other stuff, like the Jellenheimer fluff and stuff like that?
Jellenheimers, I don't know what it is. They are funny as shit. Just the fact that they do absolutely nothing. It's like an anti-joke. And I think it's funny as hell. The Booru needs more Jellenheimers. That is my official stance on that.
Alrighty, let's move on to some other things here. We got do you search for any specific tags when you log on the Booru, whether it be a person's name, a particular story or art series, stuff like that?
Not really. When I'm not at work, I generally have a lot of goddamn free time. And if I have free time, I'm probably online. And if I'm online, I'll be on the Booru. Because, fuck it. I'll just scroll through a few front pages, or the first few pages if I've missed something. But generally, I see most everything that's posted, and as far as tags go, if I want to look for something older, I'll type in weird box or funny, abuse. Don't think I've ever actually searched for hug box, but I have seen it.
Is there any concept that you'd like to see more of on the Booru? Like any specific genre or any special type of fluffy or anything?
Aside from more Jellenheimer.
More Jellenheimer.
Of course.
Honestly, I mean, there is a lot of contributing members, right? There's a lot of people that still post, and everyone's got their own little thing, and there's a pretty decent variety of a little bit everything on the Booru. I would like to see less anthro, but at the same time, the butthurt that it causes is just fucking hilarious. So I'd kind of like to see more. But that's my personal opinion. There's last few weeks, there's been a lot of new artists. There's been some new authors. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are god awful. But that adds to the fun that is Fluffy Booru.
Do you have any tags blocked on your blacklist?
I have absolutely nothing on my blacklist.
Alrighty.
And just if I don't like something, even if I don't like something, I'll look at it because I'm a sick individual.
Are there any concepts that are currently in the fandom that you would like to see us either move on from or wish they were never part of the fandom?
Not really. I think that it's kind of a grab bag. New stuff pops up, old stuff pops up all the time, and if it sticks, great. A little more variety. As far as anything that I just really don't like, I can't say there's anything really.
Is there any person who has left the fandom or stopped uploading content that you'd like to see come back?
Actually, yeah. I haven't seen Care Bear Stare in a long time. Well, it's only been like maybe 2 months, but still, that's a long time in internet time.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed his work. He definitely, I'm assuming it's a he, but that Care Bear Stare definitely had some very good, very interesting work. And his little Percy story, I was really looking forward to seeing more of that.
Mm.
And just recently, a couple more people have stopped posting. Their Flufwaffa. I really enjoyed that person's work. And, he might just be taking a break or something, but haven't seen him in a while.
Alrighty, what motivates you to create content for the Booru?
Whoa. I have no idea. I just it's like an itch you can't scratch. Yeah, I've always doodled and written little stupid stories and shit, ever since hell I was in middle school. I just draw little cartoons or write quick stories. And this gives me an excuse to do that, and people can actually see it, as opposed to being tossed into the trash after school, or being thrown away at work or something before anyone sees how disturbed my fucking insidey brain parts are. But yeah, it's something fun to do. It kills time. All the people on the Booru generally, they besides the content matter of what we're dealing with, most people on the Booru seem like decent, regular, everyday people. And we just all happen to share a common interest, which that's always fun.
Alrighty, do you start to see situations in real life that either inspire you to make content or just make you think of Fluffy Pony in your everyday life?
Everything. I'll be, out wandering around, uh, you know, going fishing or walking through the woods, walking around the shopping mall or something. I'll see something. I'll say, ah, shit, that's a Fluffy. And I'll just, in my head, I'll make this little, little story in my head. And that, a while back I was canoeing and I saw a log floating down the river. And the first thing that popped in my head, wasn't, oh, a log. It was Fluffy Pony drowns. I just saw this dead Fluffy Pony floating down the river. And, that's it just comes and goes. Sometimes I'll see some and go, ha, Fluffy Pony.
We're corrupting your minds. So, what was the inspiration for that exploitable image you made? The one that kind of blew up a few weeks ago?
Oh, God. I'm sorry about that.
Don't be, it was awesome.
I did not expect that to take off like it did. I was actually on the airplane. I was on a Delta flight across the Atlantic, just coming back from work.
Other fine flight people are available.
Yeah, they are. If I bought my own tickets, I would definitely be sticking with British Airways or Malaysia. They seem like they're having a pretty good time. But yeah, I was in the plane. I was just bored. I'd already watched like 2 movies. It's a 10-hour flight. There's not a whole lot to do on a floating tin can. But I pulled out my phone and I started to doodle on my little drawing app, and I was gonna make it where the Fluffy had drawn something very disturbing, something that you wouldn't expect an innocent creature to draw, But I'm looking around and there's families with kids around. I'm sitting next to this nice lady who doesn't look like she would find the humor in it, and I got the picture done. And I leave the picture that the Fluffy drew blank, and I was like, ah, screw it. I got to the airport, and I uploaded it, and I was expecting 2-3 shit edits. Just, hey, what should this Fluffy draw? And next thing I know, I step off my next plane, and I pull it up, and it's like the entire fucking front page is full of shit edits. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what have I done?
That means people liked your drawing.
I guess. It means people saw an opportunity. I didn't expect it to do what it did.
How do you feel about the explosion of your image?
There were some good ones. The Bob Ross one, I think, who was it that did that? The Bob Ross one. Whoever it was, that one was pretty fucking funny. And then the other one where the Fluffy drew like this stereotypical I am the manliest Fluffy in the world scene where he's got, huge balls, and there's another Fluffy there with like huge milk places. Just I thought that was funny as hell. And then you get some other ones that, someone literally just opened up Paint for 13 seconds, doodled something, and then uploaded it.
You can get pretty creative in Paint.
You can, like the dick butts.
I do all my shit editing in Paint.
Nothing wrong with Paint. Look, put some heart into it, man. That's my advice to anyone, any artist on the Booru, is put some heart into it.
All right, let's move on to some user submitted questions on our Tumblr. As always, we have our very popular, if Fluffies were an ice cream, what flavor or breed would you eat?
I can't imagine Fluffy ice cream would taste great, but Neapolitan. I think Neapolitan ice cream is probably the
all three breeds.
Orange sherbet. Yeah, orange sherbet. I could imagine orange sherbet would be what Fluffy tastes like.
Yeah, some people like sherbet. Let's see what else we have. Favorite Booru comic?
There are a lot of good comics on the Booru. I'm still waiting for the next part of Post Fluff. I really enjoy that one. It's just the entire situation, the entire fucking premise of that comic is hilarious to me. Because wow, that thermonuclear war, global annihilation is hilarious somehow. But no, that's a really funny comic. This old fucking Greg and the Russian with his broken English. It's funny as shit, and I'm still waiting for the next part.
All right. Anonymous said, to Kibbles and Tits, what was your inspiration for Mills, and is there a scientific explanation on why he cannot die?
My inspiration for Mills, it started off as a one-off comic, a little one-off picture where, this cute little foal has had his teddy bear, the one thing that every foal, that's their prized possession, but it's getting ripped apart in front of him. And for whatever reason, I was drawing the picture, and I decided to give him 2 different color dots. And I had never seen it. I don't think it had been done on the Booru, and if it had, I hadn't seen it yet. But for whatever reason, I kind of liked it. And I took that one-off comic and I kind of gave him a story where, at first it was pure psychological abuse. And then it turned into him, broken, trying to kill himself. And I wasn't going to let that happen. So the reason he can't die is because the universe doesn't want him to die.
Oh.
Ooh.
Very, very, that's some heavy shit right there.
Dun, dun, dun. Sorry.
But it's all good. No, it's, I was writing that comic, and I kind of drew myself into a corner. And, he might pop up again. He might not. I don't know. But, I decided, fuck it. Aliens, noodles, headshot, death. I went somewhere kind of crazy. And, kind of lost interest, I guess.
Alrighty. So, dear Kibbles, you are a pretty cool guy and my favorite furry artist. Love Fluffy Taffy.
Thank you, Fluffy Taffy. You're my favorite squibbing ball of something. And I am not a furry artist. Damn it. No. Despite the fact I may or may not have drawn a couple horsecocks, I may or may not have drawn Fenora a couple times. That doesn't make me a furry artist. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't, because I'm not.
All right, and he has sent to follow up, Dear Cobblestone, but seriously, Devil Fluff is best fluff.
Well, that's because, he is our Dark Lord Master, and, you should probably thank him every day you're alive. Praise Satan. But in all seriousness, the idea that Satan, which, if you were so inclined to believe in Satan, it's kind of a big part of most religions. I know that there are atheists out there and agnostics and whatnot, but everyone knows who Satan is. And the idea that this supremely powerful evil creature would get kicks out of fucking with fluffies, I think it's pretty much it sums up the Booru, because we all have supreme power over this imaginary thing that we've created, and we more or less use it to just fuck with fluffies.
Yeah, Satan just has a small budget.
Got a pretty small budget, it's not like he's Marvel Studios.
Alrighty, before we wrap things up, is there any parting wisdom or things you'd like to share with the Booru?
Stay in school, don't do drugs, drink milk every day, and no, actually that's all terrible advice. You should do the exact opposite of that, because all of the great famous men in history have been batshit insane. Fucking drop out of school, start doing all the drugs, and you might be the next Picasso. Or not. You know, that's just my advice to you.
Or you could just end up in the gutter.
Up with the gutter, you could end up rich. You know, it's kind of a calculated risk that you have to be willing to take.
Again, 50-50.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, thanks for joining us today, Kibbles and Tits. We appreciate your cooperation on our ongoing effort to meet the content creators of the Booru, and we hope to gain you some more fans today. I've been Weggies.
I've been Takenoko.
Thanks for watching.